So we'll start ebb and flow just in a comfortable seat. I am going to choose a card from the Messengers of the Great Bear, just to give an option of focal attention, focused attention. So as you close your eyes, take a full breath in, a steady breath out, letting that wave of breath rise again within you from the seat, rippling up the spine to the crown of the head. And as the wave washes the shore, letting it soften the outer shell. Tonight's card is the bald eagle in contrary position, which just means it's showed up upside down. And the card tonight is bringing visionary, discernment, and spirit. As you take a moment to envision the eagle in your mind with the eyes closed, just as I was fortunate enough this afternoon while out walking to see the eagle fly above, to soar in the wind. Its long wingspan, the strength, and an effort and an ease in perfect balance. Perhaps using that as your inspiration through tonight's movement practice. And gather your hands in towards your heart, adding any additional intention, dedication, commitment, or whisper into the universe as we move and breathe together tonight in community, though maybe apart in physical sense, together in an energetic aspect. Take a breath. Bow your head to your hands as you exhale. A symbol of honoring, accepting, or releasing past experience, thoughts, and moving into the present. As you release your hands to your lap, pull the chin back to neutral. Keep the eyes closed here for a moment. And simply look over your left shoulder, just a little neck stretch. And then as you exhale, look over your right shoulder. And sitting tall from the base, inhale, looking left. And exhale, looking right. Trying not to rush the rotation. Our simple movements and actions can bring a sweetness of release from the neck and the shoulders to the jawline. Notice if you're holding the teeth tight, can you soften the jaw but keep the lips sealed? Do one more here to each direction. As you bring the chin back to center, take your hands to interlace behind your head. And sort of cupping the back of the head. You could even simply hold the head with the fingertips, elbows out to the left and to the right, and pull your elbows like you're trying to touch the wall behind you. So expanding your wingspan. So as the elbows try to pull back to touch the wall behind you, you're accentuating the chest and the pectorals. So the inhale is to open, the head presses into the hands. And as you exhale, pull the hands up and the chin in and point the elbows forward. So a little bit of a rounding thoracic upper neck stretch. As you inhale to pull the wings wide, elbows back, chin slightly lifted, head presses to hands. Exhale, rounding it out, the upper thoracic and chin towards the chest. You're pulling slightly upward in that action. Inhale to pull the elbows back, head into hands. Exhale with that subtle bit of rounding. A couple more here. Keeping the jaw relaxed or the teeth separate, but keeping the lips sealed, letting there be a whisper in the backdrop, and a whisper in the base of the throat. Do one more. And as you come back to neutral, you'll release the arms, and we'll go ahead and lie onto our back. As you lie onto your back, bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze to align the spine, head heavy to start, and stretch your heels up towards the sky as you press out through the heels. Pull your toes back towards your nose. Take note if right away you grip with your jaw or the front of the neck or the throat. And the hands can simply rest on the thighs to start. I want you to focus on your exhalation, pulling the front of the ribs slightly down, like you're trying to tuck them into the front of your pants. As you breathe in, you'll feel the body want to expand left and right. Let it. You might feel the ribs flare towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, really focus on pulling the navel towards the spine and tucking those front ribs slightly in. You can transition the hands from the thighs to the belly. Relax the shoulders back, and as you exhale, pulling the ribs down. Creating that connection. Spread the toes, you gaze up towards them, push up through the heels, pull down through your toes in a dorsiflexion. The knees snug together. The legs can have a bend here if it's hard on the low back, but make them as straight as you can. Now gradually, you'll take the hands again behind your head like you were when you were upright. So whether cupping the head with the fingertips or interlaced hands behind you, elbows are on the floor to start. I want you to take a full breath in and lift your head and your heart straight up towards your toes. Then let your head relax into your hands. Pull your elbows back so you feel the shoulder blades, the scapula, tuck underneath you. You might have to walk them under for a little more space. And as you inhale, lift your heart just that little higher. As you exhale, push up through your heels, holding that tension and tucking the front of the ribs down. Just a couple more breaths here. And with the exhalation, use it to lift your heart that little bit higher. Chin is off the chest, elbows are pulling back, trying to touch the floor behind you, but lifting the heart away so they're not quite touching. Now, if it feels okay to keep the head lifted, do so. Otherwise, let the head drop back and lower your left leg down. Now, lower just off the floor. As it reaches just off the floor, take a breath. Lift your heart just that little bit higher. And we're just breathing here and holding a position. And it can be the hardest thing as we start to fine tune. So you lift your heart, let the head relax. Notice if the jaw gets tight. Keep the left foot off the floor. Press the right heel to the sky. 2 more breaths. Building a little internal heat, that internal fire. And then take the left leg way up to the sky so it meets the right. And you can rest the head in between if you need, or keep it lifted. Lower your right leg down. 2 inches off the floor or a foot off the floor. Pause. Push out through your heels, still extending like you're trying to stand on the ceiling with your left foot, trying to reach to the far wall with your right. Full breath here. Lift the heart a little higher. Pull those elbows back. You might start to notice your body collapsing with fatigue. Don't worry. Keep adding more breath. Do your very best to stick with it. Couple more breaths here. We're almost there. Pull the elbows back. Lift the heart up. Bring your right leg back up to meet your left. Rest your head if it's still lifted and squeeze your knees in. Give your body a gentle rock side to side and a big sigh. Now from here, we'll take the right leg up and place the left foot flat to the floor. Your hands down by your sides. Reach down so that your left hand touches your left heel like a bridge position. Right leg to the sky. Take a full breath in and lift your hips up towards the ceiling. For single leg bridge. Now lower down and almost to the floor, the tail will touch, and then lift back up. Exhale to lower. Inhale to push up through the heel. Exhale to lower. Inhale to press up. 2 more. And the last lift here, we're going to bend the right knee, bring it in towards your chest, stay in the lift on the left side, lower your right foot down, lift your hips straight up, and then lower all the way down. Take the left leg to the sky, extend through the heel, hands by your sides, touch your right heel, make sure it's just close enough to you, this half bridge, or single leg bridge. Shoulders relax back, head is heavy, even pressing the back of the skull down as you find the breath. Inhale to lift, and exhale to lower, almost to the floor, and then inhale back up. Exhale to lower, keep the chin at center, the eyes straight up, and this will protect the neck and the head. 3 more. Imagine you're trying to imprint your footprint on your ceiling. 1 more. Now as you lift the hips straight up, bend your left knee. Place the left foot down next to the right, lift the hips straight up, little bridge, and then release all the way down. At the bottom here, slide your feet away for a moment, feet together, knees wide, Baddha Konasana, release the hips. Take your hands up overhead, towards the ceiling, I should say, and interlace your palms, flip the palms to the sky, and inhale, reach your hands up behind your head or back towards the wall behind you, stretching the sides of your waist. As you reach up out of the waist, stretch your left side a little longer. You might feel the hips tilt slightly. Exhale to center, and then inhale, stretch the right side of your waist longer. Exhale back to center. Inhale, stretching left side. Exhale, center. Inhale, stretching right side. And back to center. Bring the arms up overhead, flip the hands, bring the knees together, squeeze in, and let's rock and roll front to back. Bringing awareness to the tail, to the shoulders, chin stays slightly in. And this is to invigorate the spine. A little massage on the fronts, or the sides, I should say, of the spine as we roll. And you'll come all the way up and over into a hands and knees position. Now from hands and knees here, just give your hips a little sway, a little waggle in your tail. Where your palms go flat, then push the ribs up towards the sky, chin to chest. And then lift the tail, pull your heart forward and up. Exhale, round it out. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, curl. Inhale to lift. Now we'll come back towards center. And in this tabletop, sit your hips on tucked toes back behind you. Stretch the arms maybe a little further forward to elongate your down dog. And then lift your hips to the sky. And downward facing dog here, anchor into your left foot and lift your right leg straight up behind you. Make it as long as you can. Point your toes, try to touch the wall or the ceiling up and back where they meet. And then bend your right knee and open up your hip. Big breath in, square the shoulders, feel the weight of both hands equal and even. Kick the right leg straight again, square the hips, look forward and step your foot between your hands. Lunge position, take the arms up overhead. Feel for your back heel and press off those toes. As you press off, bend the elbows wide, hinge forward halfway. This is about 45-degree angle. So from your heel through the crown of your head, send your arms back behind you like airplane wings, and just simply pull your right hip back and your left hip forward. Now you'll bend into your right knee more and more, coming over the toes until you gradually take off into flight. Full airplane position here. Now all we're going to do is bend the knee again and land gently back into our left toes and scoop the arms overhead. Hands through heart center, palms to the mat, step back, three-legged dog. Bend your right knee, open up your hip. Kick the right leg straight back, square the hips and lower the right foot to the floor. Left leg to the sky, inhale. Point the toes, reach way back, sink through your right heel so your left leg is long, and then bend your knee and open up your hip. Squaring shoulders, anchor through both hands, kick the left leg straight back, square the hips, look forward, step the foot between your hands. Set up the lunge, reach for the sky. Bend the elbows out to the sides as you start to hinge forward. Push off your back toes. Feel the lift up and over the front thigh as the arms reach back. Now you gradually bend, bend, bend into that front knee and gracefully glide up and over that left leg. Not here too long. Gazing at the floor 2-3 feet ahead of your toes. Bend your left knee. Land gracefully back, sweep up, hands through center, step back, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, open the hip. Kick the legs straight, square the hips, and lower the foot down. Come forward, top of a push-up, breathe in. Lower halfway or all the way, breath out. Up dog or cobra, inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. Stretching the heels down towards the back edge of the mat. Soften your knees and lift your tail nice and high. Look forward, step, walk, or hop to the top of your mat. Feet together, lift halfway. Hold it out, catch the calves, pull the chin into the chest. Shoulders pull away from your ears. Press to rise, come all the way up. And chair position, Utkatasana, sitting back and down. Full breath in. Sit a little deeper as you breathe out, little peek ahead of your knees. Another breath here. Straighten the legs, forward fold. Halfway lift. And we'll step back to plank. Take a breath. Lower halfway or all the way, chaturanga. Up dog or cobra, shoulders squeeze back. Downward facing dog, press into the palms, sink through the heels. Right leg to the sky, inhale. Right foot steps forward, exhale. Warrior one, reaching up. Take your left arm underneath your right, eagle arms. Where you catch the opposite palm, square the shoulders while you square the hips. Now, the hips will be a little more challenging, but lift through the elbows, look up through the fingertips, and take a little mini back bend here. Now, as you pull your elbows in towards your navel, look over your fingertips, and then curl your chin at the very end here towards the chest, maybe looking at the wrist creases or your elbow creases. And then inhale, stretch up out of the waist. At halfway, pause, elbows level with your shoulders, same height, hands off the face. Feel for your left toes and pick up your left heel, square the hips so you're in a lunge. And then reach forward like you did earlier onto your right leg and scoop the left leg over the right, eagle legs. Now from here, we can stay at center and work that balance. Maybe touch the floor with your left toes or lift the foot, work the balance. Wobbles and shakes are good things, so never be upset with yourself for moving around. Let's nest this eagle by pulling the elbows towards the navel and looking over the fingertips. And then eventually maybe towards looking at the wrists or looking at the elbow creases. That's where you might notice your hips. Left hip might be scooping forward. Try to pull the left hip back. Take your eyes forward, take your arms up. And we're gonna open up into Tadasana arms and release the legs so the left knee comes to float in front. Left hand to your knee and right arm to the sky. Let's push the knee open. You can use your palm or the back of your hand to knee position. Right arm comes out to the side. Notice if you tend to relax into this, instead, stand really tall up out of your waist. Now, as we come back through center, right arm straight up, left knee forward. Bring the left arm to meet the right and interlace your fingers. Point your fingers to the sky. Warrior 3, take your left leg back behind you. Breathe for 3. The arms, like those elbows, pulling back towards the ceiling. 2. Start to bend your standing leg and land into your lunge. Reach straight up, release the hands, and bring the palms to the mat, 3-legged dog. Bend your right knee, open up your hip. Take the right leg straight back behind you and lower it down. Top of a push-up, breath in. Halfway or all the way down, breath out. Up dog or cobra, breathe in. Downward facing dog, breath out. Left leg to the sky, inhale. Step the left foot forward, warrior 1. Reach up. Take your right arm underneath your left. Wrapping elbows, forearms, maybe catching wrists if the wrists don't meet. Backs of the hands can. And then take a moment, square the hips. Maybe shortening your stance if the foot feels lifted or curled inward. Feel for your right pinky toe side of your foot. Look up, take a little back bend here. Elbows reach up out of the waist. As you pull the elbows back down, looking over your fingertips, hinging forward to kind of curl inward. Then eyes to wrists or elbow creases. Come all the way back up. And at halfway, where your elbows and your shoulders are the same height, pull the hands away from your forehead. Hinge forward just enough that you lift your back heel, square your hips, and then reach further over that leg to fly up and sweep the right leg over the left to eagle legs. Set your vision like the eagle from way up high can see the fish beneath the surface. Every minute detail, because he's sharp as focus, attention. We'll start to nest your eagle if it serves to pull the elbows in, a bit of rounding for the thoracic. If you notice the right hip jetting out to the side, pull it back. Be active with the legs squeezing in. Take the eyes forward, stand tall. Release the arms to Tadasana and the right knee up in front. Right hand catches your knee, left arm to the sky. You can use the palm, you can use the back of the hand. You'll open the leg out to the side. Find the breath and expand in every direction. Come back through center. Take the right arm up with the left, interlace your fingers, point your fingers to the sky. Warrior 3, arms with ears, the right leg goes back. For 3. Press off the ground, get higher in this wave of breath. 2. Start to bend your front leg, land back into your lunge, release the hands, and exhale, hands to the mat, step back, 3-legged dog. Take a breath, bend the knee, open the hip. Square the shoulders, anchor through both palms. Kick the left leg straight and lower it down. High plank, breathe in. Lower halfway or all the way, breath out. Cobra or up dog, shoulders move back. Downward facing dog. Stretch back as you breathe. Look forward as you exhale, step or hop, top of the mat. Halfway lift. Fold it out. Press to rise, come all the way up. Feet together, hands to heart center. We'll sit into chair with our hands at our heart. As you sit back to Utkatasana, take a little peek ahead of your fingertips and your knee tips to see your 10 toes. Sit a bit deeper. And then take your left elbow outside of your right knee on your exhalation. Press the right hand into the left. Now we're going to play some balance here. The more connection of elbow to knee, the better. Lift your left heel and step your left foot back into lunge. Now your knee can come down here to set your position if needed. Otherwise, keeping it lifted or lifting it back up once you've set yourself with balance. And again, wobbles and shakes are good things. It's how our body's learning, building, growing. Now from here, we're going to open gracefully to a warrior 2 position. If you want to release your arms, bring the left arm forward, and then all the way around, cartwheel the arms, back heel lands. Warrior 2. We'll bring the hands around behind and interlace 10 fingers. Squeeze your elbows, shoulders back. Lift your heart, chest up. Staying here or diving the heart forward inside your right knee. Now, when you do that, the bum might stick out. So remember to tuck your right sitting bone under. And if your right shoulder touches the inside of your knee, it gives you great leverage to tuck that right sitting bone a little further. Eyes to the middle of your mat between your feet or towards your left foot. See if you can let your head go if you're there. Use the hands to pull your heart forward. Take your gaze up, take your heart up. Straighten your front leg. Release your arms. Flip your right palm And an exalted variation in the arms. Take your left hand up and catch your right wrist. Maybe even your forearm. You'll slide up and encourage it to open your right rib cage a little more. If you're feeling this a lot in the low back, come back up to center. Draw your left hip down as you reach your ribs back. Now you'll switch the hands, so come back to center. Catch your left wrist with your right hand. Pull up and extend the back body, so in this case, the left side of your waist, up and forward towards your right toes, and start to bend your right knee again. Come back to warrior two. Keep extending up and forward. And then as you release the wrist, take your right elbow to your knee. Option one. Option two, elbow inside the knee. Fingers point towards your toes. Option three, feeling strong, take your right arm with your left to hover like you're holding the world in your hands. For three, turn your heart open. For two, if you found yourself too far too fast, go back a step or a stage. Press your way back up. Warrior two, straighten the front leg again. Pivot your front toes now to wide-legged straddle position. Big breath in. Hips back, heart forward, fold. Catch your big toes, two fingers, peace fingers. Pull the elbows back, let your head go. Focus on the breath here of your navel pulling towards your spine to elongate your lower back. Head a gentle nod, yes. A subtle shake, no. Lift halfway. Release your toes. Walk your hands inside your right foot as you pivot back into a lunge position. And toe heel your right foot out to the right side. So both hands are nice and wide, like down dog hands, but your right foot's out to the outer edge. That's just a place and a time to play a little bit here. You can step your back foot in a little, hips higher than your heart, but your shoulders pull back. Your arms can be straight or a little bend. Lift your right heel, so it's like you're wearing two high heel shoes. Squeeze the knee to your outer shoulder. Breathe here, couple breaths. And maybe see if you can squeeze the knee so firm to the outer arm, you can pick up your right foot and then eventually kick it straight back to three-legged dog. Bend your knee, open up your hip again. Straighten the leg, lower it down. Option to rest here or another vinyasa, high plank, low, up dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Now feet together, bend the knees, look forward, step or hop, top of the mat. Lift halfway, fold it through. Stretch up, inhale. Sit back into chair, exhale. Hands come into your heart. Pull the shoulders down the back. Chin draws in so the neck is long. Take a little peek in front of your knees. Letting the breath come and go. Starting to manage its strength. And as you use your next exhalation, hook your right elbow outside your left knee. Think hips are lower than your heart. Sometimes when we get here, our hips start to lift up and our heart dives. Lift the heart up. You can look over the shoulder or to the floor. Looking to the floor to find some balance, you'll lift your right foot and step your right foot back. Again, you can lower the knee, find some balance first. full rotation. Maybe then go into lifting the knee back up. A whole body experience, whole breath. And you can release the arms open to cartwheel out into warrior two. Your right arm leads and the left arm follows. Back heel lands. Eyes over fingertips. As you settle into your legs, bring your hands around behind you and interlace your fingers the opposite hand on top. Squeeze the elbows back, shoulders down, lift the chest up, and then diving inside your left knee, subtle angle to the top corner of your mat, eventually letting the head go. Maybe your shoulder nudges the inner knee to help swing your left hip underneath you. Couple breaths here. Trust the legs, not here too long. Squeeze the hands, take the gaze forward as you lift your heart up. Straighten the front leg, open your arms. Left palm turns open, exalt the arms. Now, the tendency here is your left hip will drop and your right hip will rise. So make sure you're working the hips level. And you'll bring your right hand up to catch your left wrist and pull up and back to accentuate the stretch. The opening of your left rib. Now all we'll do here is come back up through center, switch the arms. So your left hand catches your right and you'll open up the back body. In this case, the right side. Now as you do that, your palm faces the top of your mat. You'll start to bend your front knee as you lengthen the sides of your waist. You can stay here, bring the elbow to the knee, side angle. Option 2, elbow inside the knee, sitting a little deeper. The elbow still connected. Option 3, float the left arm with the right. Turn your heart open for 3. Strong in the legs for 2. In your core, belly to spine. Press into the feet, come all the way back up. Into warrior 2. Straighten the front leg, pivot your toes. Take a big breath here, diving down, the wings soar like the eagle. Hips back, heart comes down, catch your big toes or catch the backs of the heels. So if you have the reach, you'll reach around. Don't force the reach. Sometimes bending in the joints feels really good, so pull the shoulders back. Let your head go. Push out through the heels, pull slightly in through your toes. Can you lengthen out of the middle lower back? You'll lift halfway, taking the hands off the feet. Pivot your left toes, walk your hands inside your left foot, coming back into a lunge setup. Toe heel your left foot wide so the hands can be nice and wide like downward dog hands. I like to hop the back foot in a little here so the hips are higher than your heart. You can bend the elbows or keep them straight, but think shoulders are back. Lift your left heel, a little bit of front to back, a little bit of fluid in our hips, squeezing the knee to your outer shoulder. You can play here, maybe pick up the foot, squeezing the knee to the outer arm, or right away kick it back. 3-legged dog. Bend the knee, open up that hip. Wake up the foot, point the toes straight back, Lower the left foot down, rest here, or another flow, high plank, low chaturanga, up dog or cobra, shoulders move back, downward facing dog. Feet together, knees together, bending, and step or hop to the top of your mat. Halfway lift and fold it out. Press to rise all the way up and hands through heart center. We'll add a tree position here. So we'll shift the weight to the left foot. Bend your right knee. Take it out to the side. Notice right away when you do that if your hip pops out. Squeeze the outer glute and glide the foot up to the calf, maybe up to the inner thigh. With your hands at your heart center, set your gaze neutral or up. Now, when our eyes travel up, that's when our body, you'll feel that sense of lift. And if there's an energy of rise, follow it with the arms. Like a celebration, just as our beautiful trees on the coast are absorbing all this rain and the growth that they'll get from it. Press foot to leg as much as leg to foot. And start to bend the elbows and let the shoulders recline down the back and let your arms come fully by your sides. Bring the knee forward and your foot to the floor. Other side, right foot as an anchor. Squeeze the outer hip, bend the knee, place the foot to ankle, calf, or assisted into inner thigh. And take the hands back to heart, set your gaze. Think of squeezing in to rise up nice and tall. If your eyes start to travel slowly upward, so we don't just look straight up, but we gradually travel up. We let the arms extend. Spin the pinky fingers more forward, the elbows slightly towards each other, feeling the shoulders descend from the ears. Start to bend the elbows as you bring the hands down by your sides to Tadasana arms. Bring the knee forward with control. Release the foot. From the top, inhale. Hips pull back, bow forward, exhale. Lift halfway. And we'll step the left foot back. Find a lunge here. Reach up to the sky. Then rotation, so a little bit of left arm forward, right arm back as you rotate your rib cage. Reach forward out of your waist. So it'll be a natural direction to travel. Bring your left hand to the floor and your right arm to the sky. You could also bring your right hand to your knee. And we're going to turn onto the outer edge of our right foot in front. So let the knee open up direction of your toes. And then your left foot also turn onto the pinky toe side. It's like a side plank setup, but supported, and more about our hip here. You could toe heel the foot down the mat if it needs to go that way. And pull your hips up and back. So as they pull up and back, they'll accentuate the outer right hip stretch. Right arm can reach straight up to the sky, helping to balance out your groundedness and your airy quality. Now we'll bring the right hand inside the right foot, come back onto your left toes and step your right leg back to three-legged dog. Now with this three-legged, we're gonna bend the knee, open the hip, and you can bend into your left foot and roll again to the outer edge and bring your right foot to the floor. Now if you get lost along the way, just sit your bum down, set your feet, lift your hips to the sky. Little wild thing here. You can catch the head in your hand as you point the elbow back behind you. Look down to the earth, kick your right foot up to the sky, pivot your left foot, and then we'll bring the right knee behind your right wrist straight into half pigeon. Now, if half pigeon doesn't serve you, you know your options of coming into deer position or lying on your back to figure four. With the palms flat, there's a lean in your heart forward. Let your shoulders come back and soften your elbows. You might come right down to forearms. You might even rest your forehead. And the breath we did at the very beginning, lying on your back, I want you to consider here, though you're not on your back, you're thinking about drawing your front ribs in towards the front of your pants, like you're trying to tuck them in, not in a rounded fashion, but in a control of exhale, lengthening your spine and smoothing the front of your body, your abdomen. Staying here a few more breaths, either on your forearms or coming back up to palms. We're not rushing to get out, but we're exploring what the sensation is as we shift back up into an upright or more upright position. And from the palms, you might even come up onto fingertips by your sides, a little bit of a tall back bend. We're not rushing, we're just exploring what that might feel like. If it's too much, you stay more forward and think about the front ribs coming in. So even as we go up, it's a bit of a back bend, but we don't want to collapse our back. We want to stay tall and start to open it up like a big arc. Wherever you are, you'll come back onto your palms, tuck your back toes, and we'll lift the back knee to slide into three-legged dog. Give that leg a little shake out. You can do a fire hydrant dog if it feels good for the hip to release. Give the whole leg a nice shake out. And then lower it back down. Step the left foot forward. Step the right foot forward. Halfway lift. Bow it out fully. Seeking more length, stretch all the way up. And hands through heart center. Tadasana, arms by your sides. Stretch up, inhale. Hips back, bow forward, exhale. Halfway lift. And step your right foot back into a lunge. We'll reach all the way up. And you'll take the right arm forward and the left arm back. And as you do, naturally reaching across the front of the mat and bringing your right hand to the floor. From here, the hand can come to your thigh. That bit of side plank here. So we're turning onto the outer pinky toe edges of both feet. So your toes should both point to the left. Your right elbow has a little bit of a bend in it. It's not locked in position. That will help the shoulder come back. If you need to walk the left foot down the mat a bit, feel free. Left arm to the sky and the hips are lifting up. Just a couple breaths here, sort of starting that opening of the outer IT, piriformis. As you bring your left hand down, you'll come back up onto the tiptoes of your right foot and stretch your left leg back, three-legged dog. And then bend the knee and open up the hip again. That position is very familiar. From here, bend into your right knee for wild thing. As you bring your left foot around, your right foot around. Again, if you get lost, just sit down. Your palm stays the same. Hips to the sky. Arm can reach back or hold the head. Elbow pulling back so shoulders squeeze. Use the legs more than the arm. Look down, release the hand to the floor, kick the left foot up, and bring the left knee through to half pigeon on the other side. Take a moment to align the hips, the pelvis to neutral. Walk forward, soften the elbows, shoulders back. Think ribs in, maybe to forearms, or all the way down to forehead. That moment of stillness here from lots of movement, allowing the breath to grow deeper. Accentuating the connection of the front of the ribs, tucking in without rounding. You can stay right here. You can come up onto elbows or palms. And you're just exploring that bit of articulation of the front of the body. And what I mean by that is almost like you're tucking the front of the ribs in. So we're lengthening both sides of the waist in an equal or as equal fashion as we can. Perhaps walking up onto fingertips by your sides, and I'll create a bit more of a back bend. I'll think about staying tall. Ears back with shoulders. Whichever variation you're in of your half pigeon or your hip opening here, we'll gradually bring the palms back to anchor. Tuck the back toes, lifting the hips to the sky. Stretch your left leg way back. Give it a nice little shake, shimmy out. Pedal out the feet, walk the feet halfway up the mat. You can come down to knees or right to your seat, legs around in front. And go ahead and lie onto your back. And for this rotation in honor of our eagle card, let's bring our feet to the floor and wrap your right leg over your left in an eagle fashion. So as you wrap your thigh on thigh, pick up your left foot and tuck your right toes if it's comfortable on your knee behind. Otherwise, just squeeze to the outer shin. And then put your left foot back down and sweep your arms wide. Now in here, we'll lift the hips and just let them rest over to the right edge of the mat and let your knees fall to the left. A nice stretch for the front pectoral of the right side, the side of the waist, and the outer hip. Full breath in. Full breath out. As you press into your left foot, you'll squeeze thigh to thigh, bring the knees back through center. Slide the hips to center, unwrap the legs, feet flat for a moment. Then left leg on top of right, perhaps wrapping the toes behind the calf, but right foot comes down, hips up and over to the left, and let your knees fall to your right. Let the depth of your breath remain expansive. Let there be a sweetness to releasing your jaw. And as you press your right foot down, bring the knees back through center, hips to center, and unwrap the legs. You can give them a squeeze, perhaps forehead towards your knees, and release your feet, release your arms. Final rest is here. Choose a position where you can fully commit to letting your body rest. Resting in your greatness, your beauty, your ease. Bald eagle is a mighty bird whose wings expand, can match the length of your outstretched arms. This card signals a time of spreading your wings in order to soar above situations and gain a broader perspective. Eagle energy teaches us to pull up and obtain a bird's eye view. It is a gentle reminder to not sweat the small stuff and to refocus your energy on a broader perspective. It's time to feed your soul, to get out of everyday worries and distractions and reconnect with the bigger picture. Look into your vision. What are you flying toward? What is your bigger picture? If Eagle has soared into your cards today, keep watch for opportunities to arise that will help guide you toward your dreams. Contrary, Eagle reminds you of the true power of discernment, the ability to gauge what something means to you. Are you having difficulty seeing through a situation or connecting with your spirit's call? Like all skills, discernment is also a muscle that needs practice in order to strengthen. Eagle guides you through your daily noise to discover the things that light your spirit up. Take as much time as you need here. Longer will feel good to the soul, to the spirit. As you feel called to move, you'll do so with an awareness to the fingertips, to the toe tips, the wrists, the ankles. You'll roll to one side and gradually rise back to a tall seat. Let your hands grace your heart That Anjali Mudra, honoring your inner wisdom, knowledge, and knowing by your head to your heart. Namaste. Thank you for ebbing and flowing with me tonight.